Welcome, buddy. Can you hear me? So the FusionFlex League finished drafting actually a few days ago. They got it done in it was like 6 days exactly, pretty much. So great job, everyone. Some really interesting teams, how everything finished. So we're going to wrap that up and look at team by team tonight. So that's what this is. I'm Joshua, host of Fusion Fantasy Football podcast. I do some video stuff like this sometimes, but hope that if you have heard anything about the Fusion Flex League, I'm going to give a quick intro so that you know what I'm talking about and why this is possibly interesting. So, and I've even seen some more posts this week on Twitter, people talking about how I really like Superflex, but I feel like the quarterbacks, everyone, it just becomes a 2 quarterback league, things like that. I completely understand. I love the Superflex league. I hardly do any 1 quarterback leagues anymore. But you can't just leave out quarterbacks. You got to have them in there somehow. So when Scott Fishbowl X, SFBX, had the scoring that really did a good job of penalizing bad quarterbacks, or at least inefficient quarterbacks, I looked at it closely and I said, hey, maybe I can do something with that. Maybe this is a solution. Now, it turned out it was only half of the solution. So like I said, the scoring is very similar to SFBX. You get plus points for completions, but negative twice as many for incompletions. So you got to finish with above a 66.7% completion rate in a game to get at least break even. And you can do that and just get points from yards and touchdowns like normal. Also, worse penalties, negatives for turnovers, interceptions, especially interceptions for touchdowns, fumbles, sacks as well. So there's a lot of negatives, and a quarterback, if he has a bad game, can quickly become a negative points. So we're going to look into the teams now. But I should go over the roster requirements. Sorry, getting ahead of myself. Too excited to get to these teams. So what we did was I got rid of the required quarterback slot. I mean, if you want to play a quarterback, you can. You can start 4 if you want to. There's 4 super flex spots. But the way the scoring is, maybe you don't want to. It's not a guarantee. I know in most super flex, it's like, well, you always want a quarterback in there because they're always going to have a higher floor, things like that. Not necessarily. That's the idea here. So just getting this in here. That's the idea. All right. There's also 2 running backs, 2 wide receiver, 1 tight end, 1 wide receiver tight end flex. A little bit of an experiment there too. I just wanted to allow tight ends, because the scoring is a tight end premium. I wanted it to allow you to start multiple tight ends without even using, just like running backs and wide receiver. Wanted to let you start 2 tight ends without even getting into the super flexes, but not have to, because I have a no flex league where you got to start 2 quarterbacks, 2 tight ends. I'm in many 2 tight end leagues. I understand. It gets a little rough sometimes when it's a requirement. So the little flex there, it's like a receiver flex, give you some flexibility. Why am I talking? I shouldn't be allowed to talk. I'm not a good talker. And yet here I am doing this, talking. So we're going to look at the teams. You can see it on the screen here. Let me, here we go. I am not going to go team by team on the draft board. I already did that for the first half of the drafts for all the big picks. So I don't really feel like doing that. What I want to do is look at the teams as a whole. So I want to see their finished product. I don't want to be bogged down by wondering where they took them, the value. I want to look at the finished product as a team. And this is really what we need to keep in mind, even as you're drafting your leagues this coming weekend. If you have any more, my 2 kind of home leagues are this coming Sunday. So I want to, you want to keep that in mind, especially, and I talk about this in my draft articles, FusionFFB.com, check it out. Especially if you're at the turn or maybe even the whiplash next to the turn, that don't get bogged down by ADP within the round. Like, no one's going to worry about the fact that you took a player at the 10:01 when their ADP was the 10:12. At the end of the day, everyone's going to look at it, and if they even look at where they were taken, they're going to see 10th round. It's going to be 10th round. They're not going to really think about it. And like I'm going to do tonight, you're just going to look at the team. So we're going to throw this away. Not throw it away. We're going to go one by one. So I'm going to pull in here one by one. We're going to pull in the teams. And I want you to be able to see these. So I'm going to try and zoom it up a little bit. I don't know if these guys have set their lineups. That's probably just autofilled based on the order they were drafted. So, but that's probably pretty close, but it is a super flex league, so there could be some variation there. So don't, come down hard on anybody yet. It's only 20 players, which I say only 20. It's funny in drafts. It's like you get to round 16 and I'm thinking, oh goodness, these players, these options, we have too many bench spots. But by the time we're in round 19, I'm making my round 19 and 20 picks. I'm ready to draft another 2, 3, 4 rounds. Let's go. Just hit my stride, guys. Come on. So we got Fantasy Champ Casey here. Let's see what he got. He went with. He's got a few decent quarterbacks. He's got 3 at least 2 that you can start consistently. Christian McCaffrey, of course, Le'Veon Bell. Just trying to look at his team here, get a sense for it. What I do like about his team, he got Gibson at a decent. I'm not going to think about value, but he's a guy who could help his team. Chris Thompson, I am going to bring up value because that was Mr. Irrelevant. It was the last pick in the draft. Chris Thompson, just I believe one night before. Yeah, this was Sunday night we finished. Of course, Monday morning, Fournette gets dropped, so he lucked out there. I like these guys down there, Lazard, Sims, even Renfro could have some value. Some people are really crazy about it. I'm like, come on, calm down. Wentz already has some kind of ailment, not serious, but you never know, he might get in. Pretty strong team. I don't know if I'll rate you guys this time because I already kind of rated your draft, and that's really what I was doing. I was rating your draft, not your team. But I just wanted to look at each of these teams to get an idea for how people approached it. And so I'm looking at this team and thinking he's got Christian McCaffrey, right? He's not thinking about stacking up running backs. He's like, I've got my rock here. My cornerstone, Christian McCaffrey. I'll grab a decent running back later, some later round guys. Ooh, R.I.P. Vaughn. Thompson, Gibson, those fit though. And then he's stacking up these wide receivers, Julio, Allen Robinson, Tyler Boyd, picking up some decent tight ends. Higbee, I'm not sure what you paid for him, but yeah, it can be all right. So it's a pretty solid team, and I'm actually looking at it from a team's perspective, week to week starting. This is a solid team. It's going to be, he's probably going to want to get, he's going to love starting Rivers week 1 against Jacksonville, but they've got some tougher games after that. So we'll see how Rivers does. I feel like if he's more conservative with the Colts, he might do okay in this scoring, but if he didn't do great in the scoring when he was in with the Chargers because he kind of threw it around a lot, got a lot of untimely turnovers, that kind of thing. I did boost wide receivers in my scoring just a little bit in the points per reception versus SFBX. So that helped give them a little bit more value than they had in SFBX, which is funny because I'm the guy who's like doesn't worry about wide receivers, and even I felt bad for him. So I turned that up a little bit. Deshaun Watson is like my quarterback 2 in the singularity. Drafting, I'll take him 3. But yeah, I like him. Garoppolo is great in the scoring. So I'm looking at this really solid team. I'm not going to give you a number score. I don't know. Do you guys want me giving you number scores? I mean, really? I don't even know. I don't even know if I can see chats. Hang on a moment, guys. I'm going to try and see if I can even pull up a chat because it's not working in my one on the side here. Oh, goodness. So I'm guessing a lot of these teams, I'm hoping they're going to take kind of some archetypal kind of shapes. You know, this team went quarterback, this one running back. I would put this team in a little bit more of the wide receiver construction. But the fact that he had Christian McCaffrey 101 kind of made that disappear, and it doesn't really look like it, even though it is. Gonna see if anyone's actually in the chat in here, and it doesn't. I told it to mute. It didn't, of course. So now we're gonna look at, that was Fantasy Champs team, very solid. Again, am I really giving you guys scoring? I guess. Trying to pull this up. I'm terrible at this. Okay. So. I showed the Twitch. See, I should have a... I don't even know. Yeah, it is there. It is there. I don't know, guys. So, we're going to move on. Absolutely. I got to make sure that this isn't talking to me. Okay. If you can make comments, great. Maybe I'll see it. I don't know. Here we're going. Lauren, your team was next. We are going to follow the draft order. Let's see what she got. She got Russell Wilson, Drew Brees. I tried, Lauren, I tried warning you about Ronald Jones. I'm sorry, guys. I'm going to be insufferable with this Fournette, Ronald Jones thing. David Johnson, Mr. So this is a little bit, again, we have a couple. It seems the teams at the top are able to, typically, this was a little different because she went Michael Thomas at the 102, but typically those early teams are able to take that big running back up front and then kind of do what they're calling modified zero running back, even though I hate that name, and take a bunch of good wide receivers after that, but you have that cornerstone. She just went Michael Thomas right off the bat and kept going. Mike Evans, I think that's great. Tyler Luck. I love the picks. I love the players. I am a little concerned for your running backs, especially now Ronald Jones. Should never have trusted him. So come talk to me. We'll do a trade or something, Lauren, because you need a running back. Yeah, that's going to be a little rough. Well, like I said, you only have to start 2. You have Johnson, Mostert. Those 2 might do it. They're going to have bye weeks. You got to have somebody else. Talk to me. All right, so I like the 2 you got. Wilson and Brees are excellent in the scoring. Thomas, like I said, all those running backs, excellent. Got some good guys down here. I love Preston Williams. Laviska Shenault, maybe that's going to go up with Fournette leaving. I love Minshew and that whole situation in the passing game now. I'm not sure Troutman's going to be anything for a redraft for you this season. You're probably going to end up churning that roster spot. But, hey, if you're just stashing him in case he hits in camp, that's good. I like it. Am I going to give scores, guys? I don't. Do I want to? Do I want to give scores? I don't know. Of course I'm going to give scores. What am I thinking? All right. Fantasy Champ, that was a solid team. I'm going to wait on the scores because I haven't seen all the teams yet. See, that's the problem. I'm going to have to wait. Okay, Lauren, I like it, but we're moving on to John June. He's got Gardner Minshew. I think that's really good. It's really good in redraft. Fournette leaving. Possibly bad in Dynasty. Some people are saying, oh, they're definitely tanking. First of all, an aside. The argument that somehow you knew that Fournette was going to get cut because they were tanking makes no sense. You don't tank your team by cutting a running back that you've been saying just isn't that good in camp. If he's not good, perfect. Run him on first down all the time, lose a lot of games, draft your quarterback, and he's already on the last season of his contract. He can walk. Or you make him look as good as you can for the first few games. Someone gets injured on another team, and you trade him away. Like, this was not an actually good front office decision by the Jaguars. So to say that it made sense for them because they were tanking to cut a running back, those things don't go together. They're not connected. Winning games, the only running backs that actually help you win games are the exceptional ones that can make big plays. Okay, that's been Zeke for years. Maybe he is now still, maybe not. That's what you got to keep an eye on. He at least is dependable, and he's okay in the receiving back. We'll come to that. But it's the Zekes of the past, the Barkleys, the Chubbs, the Derrick Henrys, and that's what we hope Jonathan Taylor is going to be. Like, these are the guys who actually make big plays in the running game that can help you win. Most of the running backs are just doing their job on the ground. Now, the value of a running back is when you have a running back that can do that, but also be productive in the passing game. That's your Dalvin Cook, right? That's your Christian McCaffrey. He's the archetype for that. Wide receiver 10 with just his wide receiver work. That's why he's valuable, both in the NFL and in fantasy. So when I say, if you ever see me say running backs don't matter, if you see it, if you hear it, please understand what that is actually saying is that the rushing work, on the ground work, at a replacement level, it doesn't matter. It's replaceable. Lots of backs can do it. And what we see happening all the time is it gets replaced by a committee because the back can't do it all. That's why we have committees, guys. Because there's three skills a running back can have. Good at running the ball, like I just talked about. Good at receiving the ball, like Christian McCaffrey and others. Sometimes a back can be mostly just that and not much rushing. And lastly, dependability is the third thing. And so Fournette's had that lately, right? Zeke is the epitome of that. So that's why I say he's valuable in that. And he's had some more receiving work involvement too. And so did Fournette even recently. So I do think he's better. The team isn't as good as they were with Fournette, but they could just continue to use Fournette badly, is my point. And he wasn't exceptional in the efficiency of replacement level anyway. In either of those categories, he was just getting volume. He was getting Carlos Hyde, 2017 volume, right? Raw volume, not great, but volume. That's what he got last year, and they could have just done it again. So you don't say just because they were tanking, you knew they were going to. Those things don't connect. There's lots of other arguments you can make, could have made against Fournette. Not anymore. Because looks like he's going to be on Tampa Bay Buccaneers, in case you didn't know. So, sorry about Ronald Jones. Not sorry. And the winner for 2019, I wish, 2020, is Gardner Minshew. Gardner Minshew, right here, they will probably have to pass more. They will not be able to rely on the running back. It shouldn't be this way, but it is. Okay? Hear me out. So, It shouldn't have made a difference that Fournette was there. They still shouldn't have thrown the ball a lot. And hopefully they will throw the ball a lot, but they should have done that anyway, whether they had Fournette at all or not. Ironically, I wonder if they win just as many or more games this season because they are throwing the ball more and because Gardner Minshew's good. That's going to be hilarious to see. So I really like him. Nothing more. At the worst case, he's just good. Lots of volume for this season. In this scoring, it could be some ups and downs. Sam Darnold, same thing. He actually had a strong finish to the season. Roethlisberger could be perfectly fine in this. Yeah, if he stays healthy. Much better running backs on this team than we've seen. I have a little breakdown over here. I should have looked at it for the other ones, but we got 3 quarterbacks. A lot more running backs, you can see. Only 5 wide receivers. Who did he get? Diggs, Thielen, Deontay. So it's a little thin on the wide receiver here. Stacked up a lot of... See, this is my kind of team here, John. My kind of team. And you got lucky that someone sniped Ronald Jones from you. Herndon, he was back at practice, so this is looking good. We're going to get this moving along. I got more teams to get to. I like it, John. I like it. Strong contender. We're going to come back through one more time and grade them all after I've seen them all. Let's look at this team. Carr, Locke. Here's Kamara. It looks like contract issue. I think it'll be fine. I am a little concerned about the injection. It's not a big deal, but it could be signal for something that could flare up and continue to flare up and hamper him throughout the season. Because the injection, it's not a pure, I'm going to use words I don't even necessarily know what they mean. I'm just repeating guys like Dr. Jesse Morse, Edwin Paris, right? FB injury doc, injury prone podcast. Okay. It's not higher up lumbar from the top down injection for epidural. It was a S1, S standing for some word that I can't pronounce. But it's where your hips connect in. And so that's where the injection was. It's still not a good thing, obviously, that's inflamed and hurting. The injection did its job. It can lower the inflammation, but we don't know what exactly they used, a steroid or can't remember the actual name for the Toradol, but it's another name. We don't know all the details. It just kind of something's not right if you need the injection, right? So that's why it's a concern. Yeah, I might be moving him down below like Derrick Henry. Melvin Gordon strong. Reek Hill, Hilton, Marvin Jones. This is pretty solid. Waller. Much more balanced team approach here. A lot of 5 quarterbacks. So you must have grabbed... Okay, we got Stidham, Herbert, Tua. Okay, so a lot of backups. You got Fournette. Congratulations. Okay, this actually looks even better than I thought. James Robinson, that was smart. I like him. This is nice. This might turn out to look like a very, very smart draft. So I like that, Stone Jesus. All right, we're going to come back around to him. Let's look at Anad. You still have not told me how I'm supposed to say her name, so I'm just going to keep saying it. Anad. Red nose. Kyler Murray, Zeke, Akers, Dobbins, Godwin, AJ Brown. I like it. He's got the initial team. I'm going to nick this name. This is the initial team. We got JK, AJ, DJ, OJ, and AJ. This is the initial team. Debo, I love that pick late. Great value. Harry, they dropped Sanu. I guess that's a good sign for Harry, right? Campbell's been hidden. A lot of high upside guys here for, I mean, if Breeze goes down at all, like it did last year, even for a little while, Winston's a great start. I believe he got him at super late round. I was just starting to think about him. That's how I remember. I like the looks of this. The starters are solid. A little concerning with OJ Howard, but I think, yeah, you're going to want to play the waivers for tight ends. But hey, once again, we're hearing about OJ Howard is going to break out. We'll see. Well, we'll see. All right. Looking pretty good there. Red Nose, initial team. Dark Helmet, Cam Newton, Derrick Henry, Jacobs, Carson, Juju, AJ, Ertz, Gesicki, Engram, Hurst. He's got some Latavius here, Pollard, Madison. It's a pretty decent. He's got Brian Edwards. I like it. I like it a little bit more explosive here. Is he going to be able to get those explosive guys in here? Obviously, he has some tight ends. This is the tight end team, right? Dark Helmet. This is the tight end team, of course. Ertz, Gesicki, Engram, Hurst, Jarwin. You're going to want to start him too, man. Yeah. I'm really excited to see how this team comes out. Got some solid running backs. You only have to start 2 wide receivers. Think about that. I mean, we're so used to just playing more wide receivers, and we're so used to looking at, you only have to start 1 running back or 2 running backs, so you just need a couple good. Well, what if you go the other way and you only have to start a couple wide receivers? You don't have to pay up for him at all. He's got Juju and AJ. That is a little concerning, but I think Brian Edwards, Deshaun Jackson, they might bail you out here or there. A little thinner than I would have gone, but I respect that a lot. Dark Helmet, I really like it. Byronchenko, moving on. I wanted to get this in half an hour, and we're only 3 minutes away from half hour. All right, Dak, Rodgers, Allen. We got a lot of quarterbacks going already. Well, just some high-end ones here. A little bit more balanced team again than we had with Dark Helmet here. 7 tight ends, 4 wide receivers. That was an extreme. Back to Byronchenko. We got Metcalf, Jones, Sanders, Sutton, Metcalf, Fuller, Jonnu. You sniped me. Very high upside team here with some guys. You even got Antonio Brown late in the season. Ruggs, right? Mike Williams. I grabbed him in a couple teams. I hope it's not too bad and you can make a... I hope he can contribute mid-season, at least. Some strong running backs in Jones and Sanders. If you're just pairing up 2, going quarterbacks and running and wide receivers after that, it looks like. I like it. It's a little bit more of a balanced approach, but it's not 0 running back, but it's very condensed running back. You're just focusing on a couple good ones. You're not going to have to make much for, sit-start decisions there. All right, Brian. Balanced, more balanced because you've got more running backs here, at least higher end ones. Wentz, Ryan Tannehill, solid trio of quarterbacks. Cook, Mixon, Ingram, Amari. This is a fairly balanced team. I'm guessing if we look closer, we'd see a lot of value picks, that kind of thing. I just don't know it's going to stand out. It seems... You're just going to have to hit on the players. And that's how it is for everybody. But, Wentz is going to have to hit. Ryan's going to have to hit. Mixon and Cook are going to have to hit. Landry's going to have to be good. Cooper's, they're just going to have to hit. It could be a solid team, but you might end up just in the middle of the pack too. Omega. You got Mahomes, Baker Mayfield, Haskins. You may... Philadelphia. That's worth a shot starting, I guess. Montgomery, Connor. I like some high upside wide receivers here. Adams, Hopkins, Kupp, Parker, if he does anything close to last year. And then it looks like he went back to running back later. Dawson Knox, Ebron. Yeah, those tight ends are a little thin. I mean, if Ebron works out for you, then it's not thin. You're perfect. We'll see. Jake, I know you're out there. Maybe you still are, maybe not. I'm sure a lot of you are not actually watching live. You're going to have to trudge through me struggling with chats on the recording. But welcome either way, wherever you are. Lamar Jackson, Chubb, Gurley, Swift, Galladay. I remember liking this team, Jake. Ridley, McLaurin, Hunter Henry, Hooper. Oh, you sniped me so bad on Hooper, and you know it. I know you know it. Sonu got cut. Having my SFBX team too. I'm gonna have to. I almost got through clean. That's one move I'll have to make when waivers open. Scott, I like it. Geo, I mean, probably not as valuable now, since we know that Mixon's got the contract. Your bench is just kind of blah. I wonder, Jake, were you like just? I mean, I like Boston Scott. I like the Tyrod Taylor. I guess Foles, but seems like a lot of safe guys. You didn't go after a lot of higher upside kind of plays. After what I thought is a pretty amazing starting lineup. This is probably the best starting lineup. But your depth is kind of gross. So good luck. Hope everyone stays healthy for you. I'm going to skip my team as far as the order goes. Go to Alvin here. He was on the turn. Brady. Yes, I made the mistake of not taking him. No, I probably did the right choice. I just really wish he'd fallen to me. Brady, Goff, Bridgewater, all good guys for this format. They have both upside, but they're probably mid-round, mid-tier kind of guys. I don't see a ton of really bad games out of them unless Brady just dies. I don't think he is, though. Kareem Hunt, Clyde, DJ. Very good starting lineup once again. Kittle, Irv. You got me on Irv, too. That was definitely my mistake. I should have just picked him first. Going into the turn. Zigbo, Harris. You got some high upside running backs here that could be paying off big for you to combine with, because you only have Hunt and Clyde. You may need somebody else instead of Hunt, or, of course, bye week. So Hyde, Zigbo, Harris, these guys, Zach Moss, these guys can pay off for you. I like this as a build. I like it a lot. And of course, my team, how does it come out? I don't even know. I haven't looked at it yet. We'll set my lineup right now. I went after couple quarterbacks here. Not sure if I'll start Fitzpatrick. I'm kind of tempted to, because Patriot defense is so depleted with all the opt-outs. I don't know. Eckler, JT, Keenan. Yeah, I know I have Keenan and Eckler. I know. Okay. Julian Edelman. I mean, Sanu leaving's not a bad thing for him, right? I mean, I think Harry might be also a thing, but that doesn't mean Edelman can't be a thing. Certainly better than where I had to draft him. And then here's my tight ends, Kelsey and Hawkinson. I love that, especially Hawkinson. I grabbed Adrian Peterson. Think he's going to get a lot of that grunt work. So if I just need a body to start, especially early in the season, I'll be able to. Breida, McKinnon. I really love Tate's. These were just floor play wide receivers, my first three, because I waited so long. I didn't take Keenan, my first one, until the 7th round. So I waited a while, but then I was able to get some high upside here in Hardman, Tate. Jefferson went for the stack. I didn't give my Irv stack with Kirk Cousins, but I'm okay with that. Justin Jefferson can hit later. I did get my Quintus Cephas stack with Stafford. That'll pay off later. And I grabbed more Allie Cox because Doyle and Burton just keep getting injured, so why not? Kendrick Bourne, the true fill-in for any kind of volume. If Debo or Ayuk or anyone's hurt, is going to be Bourne. So he's a guy you can just slip in and start when those guys are out. And he's going to get 7-8 targets, that kind of thing. And you never know. I'm very happy with this team. They had a few misses, missed out on a few of my guys, but looking back now, I think I definitely was going upside early with my Eckler and Taylor picks. Even Hawkinson, I was just kind of going, let's do this. Of course, I have the Hawkinson Stafford stack. Really was happy to have that. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with this. Okay, so we're going to go over where we're at. Good. I can get out of here before 40 minutes. We're going to go back over Fantasy Champs. Pretty vanilla, but you got some strong wide receivers paired with your cornerstone CMC. I'm going to give this team an 8. I'm going to try and go around, bounce around a little bit more, not just all be within 5 and 8. Kind of boring. 7. I'm giving you a 7. I'm sorry. Just trying to stretch it out a little bit. Okay. 7 for Fantasy Champ. Lauren, your running backs are a problem. Love your quarterbacks. Love your wide receivers. Your tight ends may also be a problem. You don't want to have a problem at 2 different positions. You can have a problem at one position and then just piece it together. It's hard to piece these 2 positions together at the same time. If it's a position you don't have to start quite so many, that's okay, but you got to start 2 running backs. So I'm going to give you a 5. 5, Lauren. 5. Next, John. Love that Minshew pick. Barkley, I can hate it. Drake, I can hate it a little bit. I am going to go ahead and say with this team, I'm going to give it a solid 6. Doesn't really stick out to me, but it's got some good players on it. They could do something if they hit. Stoned Jesus, Derek Carr, Locke. I'm going to give this team, this is the team that will win a little bit more. Yeah, but they're backups. You got Fournette with a good spot now. All right. This is a 7. This is solid. You got Darren Waller in there. He's really going to be great in this format. Doesn't need as much volume as last year to still be great in this format. Tight end premium, real premium, both in PPR and in first downs. So I'm going to give this time. This is a 7. 7 for you, Stoned Jesus. Initial team, red nose initials. I remember really liking this team. The tight end was a problem, and this is the one quarterback team, at least, for sure starter quarterback team. I love it. 7.5. It's not an 8. It's a 7.5. Dark Helmet. This is the tight end team. I wish you have Derrick Henry, Cam Newton. Is that your only? Do you also only have one real? Only one at all. Well done. 7.5. See, I'm doing it again. I don't like this one as much as an odds, as much as I love that you went after tight ends. Ooh, but these wide receivers, I don't like it. 7, just 7. Sorry, just 7. Byronchenko. A lot more tight end. A lot more quarterbacks on this team. This is a good team. Should have looked at it closer before I did scores or had scores ahead of time. Be prepared or something, right? Man, giving out 7s and This is 7.5. Whatever, I don't care. This is what we're doing between 5 and 8 again. We're doing it. I don't care. Wentz. Brian. Back to Brian Wentz. This team, really good running backs. If those guys hit, if Fant hits, a lot of people love him as a breakout. I'm not sold, but some decent guys on your bench. This is a much more exciting bench. I'll give this team a 6. Pretty good. Omega, you got Mahomes, you got this stuff. Those running backs are rough, man. Good wide receivers, rough time. This is Omega. I'm going to give you a 4. A 4. Sorry. Jake. Yeah, this is this team, man. As your bench compared to Fantasy Champ, I remember that was a problem. Pretty decent. It's a little bit better. You're going to have to swap that out, obviously. You've got some tight end depth between Olsen and Cook, old guys, and then Hooper and Hunter Henry. All right, this is a pretty good team. I'll give it an 8. I like it. It has a lot of upside, stability at the same time. It's an 8. Alvin. I think we only have a couple 8s, right? Fantasy Champ. Did he get an 8? No. Can't remember who else got an 8. Jake. You got an 8. Congratulations. Good job. It's meaningless. You're probably going to lose now. Alvin. Right. Team that kept sniping me. This is going to be a 6. You've got some high upside pieces, but they're going to have to hit. You even had Rager, who got hurt with his shoulder. Yeah, this is rough. I can't give it, it's going to have to be a 6. Yeah, 6 for you, Alvin. Not sorry. This team, what is this guy doing? Cousins. It's me. Pretty high up. I probably am a 7 on this one, to be honest. Yeah. It's a 7. Everybody gets a 7. I'm terrible at scoring things. It's pointless. You're welcome, Jake. He says thanks for the 8. So I think, Jake got the 8, and was it John or... I can't even remember who else I gave the 8 to. I think it was Red Nose. I might have given it a 7.5. But you guys are really close. I would think these two teams, and they also represent kind of different approaches at the same time. So it'll really be fun to see how this works out. Like I said, we got the tight end team here, Dark Helmet. We've got a little bit more of a wide receiver focus with higher upside running backs. And then Jake's got the kind of studs all the way through. I don't know how he did that. Darn you. I know how he did it. Because he didn't take higher end quarterbacks. That's how he did it. Still got Tyrod, maybe a starter for a while. That's how he did it. All right. That's it. I'm going to get this done before 45 minutes. Always longer than I expected. Had a couple little detours there talking about Fournette and Ronald Jones. I couldn't help it. I'm sorry. Look for, again, next week tonight. I'll be recording that tomorrow. It's just a podcast. If you know anyone out there who has a video platform who wants a next week tonight segment, maybe I can record little shortened versions of stuff for them. I'll put it out there. Thanks for watching. Now, later, whenever. FusionFlex guys, thank you so much for joining the league. Hope we have a good season. No major injuries. And it'll be fun to see how this turns out. I'm really excited about this format more and more. Like I said, people making comments about Superflex and things like that. And I keep seeing them, and I keep thinking to myself, I almost have to hold myself back. But I keep thinking to myself, That's why we should do FusionFlex. So it would be pretty cool if this works out and becomes a thing. The downfall, as I talked about before, because a lot of the uncertainty aspect is with the quarterbacks, just whether you should or shouldn't start them. I'm not sure it'll work out great in a best ball format, but at the same time, like if you only have 3 quarterbacks and 2 of them had bad weeks, then they just won't get started in your best ball lineup. So maybe that would still work. But for now, we're going to keep it as a sit-start redraft and see how it goes. And then we'll see if we experiment in other formats next season. So thanks again, everyone. FusionFlex, thanks for the donations. I think we got most everybody's money in. If you haven't yet, you know who you are. You are depriving little children of their Christmas money. You should feel terrible about yourself. That's how you do it, right? Is that going to work? I don't know. Thanks, guys.